Hello ladies and gentlemen, just before we begin, I need to thank PlayAsia because without them I wouldn't have been able to afford this copy of Project Nimbus. If you want to support me and the channel, go and visit the link in the description and use the coupon code at checkout. You'll be doing me a favour and saving a little bit of money off your order. Thanks and enjoy the video. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out, and I believe this is the correct order the name is set in, Project Nimbus Code Mirai Complete Edition. I've actually been looking at this game for a long time. It's been on Steam for ages, something like a couple of years at this point in early access, but it probably just came out recently alongside the Switch port, but, well, I haven't actually looked because I got it on the Switch. So, we're going to be playing the Switch version, obviously. We're going to ignore the credits and the EULA because it should be pretty obvious what those are. We're just going to hit up options first. And we've got a few interesting features here. First thing to note is that there's text and audio language, but they can only be English or Japanese. The downside of both there being a dub and a sub is that both of them aren't particularly great, especially the English, but yeah, it's a little bit depressing when you can't really get a good dub or a good sub. The thing is, at least the Japanese audio is better overall, because in the English version, a couple of the characters sound like they don't really want to be there, like their heads are completely in completely different locations to where the actual game is, but oh well. We have music, voice, and sound effects sliders and some subtitles, and some of the accents they have can be pretty bad, so I'd recommend leaving this on. You can remap all your controls, which is a really nice benefit, considering that the default control scheme was actually relatively uncomfortable for me. I couldn't get my head around using the face buttons on the left to go up and down, which is what they want you to do on the default scheme, but after I remapped them to the left set of shoulder buttons, and then just put the other stuff back on the face buttons, I was doing absolutely fine. There's only one problem I have, and that's with the weapon wheel bind, and we'll get to that when we're actually in a mission. You can also change your camera sensitivity, whether or not it's inverted on any axis, which is a nice bonus, and controller vibration, which honestly I don't even remember feeling. I'm playing this mainly on a Switch Pro controller, if you're wondering. So, let's just start the campaign, shall we? We'll start there. We're not going to go into survival, other than letting you fly around as all the machines in the game, as far as I can tell. It doesn't really do anything that different. You have natural health regeneration all the time in there, and when I got to wave 20-something without even being lower than maximum health, I thought, yeah, there's probably no point in going any further. And we'll do Warfront, but for now, let's just go and do the campaign. I'm currently up to Act 2, and yeah, we might as well just go straight to Act 2, shall we? There is a story going on. I don't claim to understand it. I know the background. Basically, World War III happened. Humanity escaped on a bunch of what were basically arcs that fly in the sky. And yeah, basically everybody's still going to war anyway. Because humanity. So let's just go to For the Fatherland, shall we? There are 3 difficulties. Casual gaming, which has auto lock-on and health regeneration. I would like auto lock-on to be just a more general feature. That sounds more like a preference than something you should lock off on difficulty, but anyway, we'll get to that. Gamer recommended, which is what I also recommend, because Prepare to Die is a bit of a bitch. The difficulty can wave up and down between ridiculous and stupid easy on that for some reason. I was trying to play through on Prepare to Die, and I did a couple of missions in it, but then I just popped it back to Gamer Recommended and found myself having a lot more fun, so Gamer Recommended it is. I'm going to shut up because this is a briefing.
The Americans are sending a strike fleet into our homeland. They're coming through the Bering Strait. We have small friendly fleet defending the area, but without reinforcements, they're going to be overwhelmed. You are to scramble to the combat area immediately. Lieutenant Juliana will help defend the friendly fleet from enemy attack, and Colonel Andy will penetrate into the center of enemy fleet with Overbooster and destroy the fleet's flagship and her escort.
Oh sweet, we get a new toy to play around with. That's nice.
Reinforcement. What did they send us?
Alright, here we are.
Juliana Alexandrov, ZX-05 Zaftra.
Considering that I was playing Panty Party a couple of days before this one, this game stands out as being one of the best looking games I've played in a while, just because I haven't had the opportunity to play anything that wasn't absolute rubbish. seriously, this game actually looks pretty damn good for what it is.
Mission acknowledged. Protect
I mean,
defending fleet
remember how Panty Party basically wasn't anything special whatsoever, but it was incredibly, like, it was incredibly easy to make that game fall below a reasonable frame rate? Well, this game, despite its general action, does a really good job at concealing its low frame rates. It doesn't feel anywhere near as unstable as that bloody Panty Party.
Yes, sir.
If I ever have to say that game's name again, I'm gonna get really pissed off. But anyway, this is good old-fashioned mech shooter extraordinaire with just a bunch of robots going at it. That is the best kind of mech shooting action. The controls are very simple. You move around with the left stick, and you have a boost button, which you can apply to boost in any direction, including up or down, which I actually really appreciate, because it means that you have a pretty good set of control over your mech and what it does. Even on the worst units that have some bullshit going on, like they don't have boost equipped or all their weapons are really short range, you do feel like you are maintaining some control of your mech, even with the heavier ones. It can be a little bit dick at times, just purely because of the way some of the enemies work, where they have this annoying tendency to go in and out and in and out and in and out, and they can be a bitch to reach. But as soon as you are into a unit that actually has a decent boost pull, you will not be having any problems whatsoever, because if you hammer that boost button, you go flying. You just disappear. And it is incredibly easy to stay out of the enemy's way. You do also have flares to help with the particularly bitch missiles that just have this annoying tendency to follow you around and never stop tracking you. Every mech has a different series of weapons, and you can only equip one weapon at a time. In order to get all the other weapons out, you need to either hold the weapon wheel button and use the right stick, no, not the left, just the right, in order to select a new weapon for you to use. My main problem with that is that if you've rebound the controls, it only detects the right stick, so if you're in a really painful position where the left stick just won't work, well, tough titties. It's annoying because the weapon wheel actually gives you a nice little benefit in the form of slow motion, so it would be really nice to have, but unless I just really need to swap to something right then and there, I just find myself not using it too much. You do have to lock on to enemies a lot, because while the game sometimes lets you lock onto something as soon as you've killed something else, it's kind of rare, especially since it has this annoying tendency to lock you onto enemies that immediately fly out of your range of vision. And in this game, if anything leaves your field of view for too long, that counts as a lock, as a dislock, D-lock, doesn't lock on. You know, you get the general idea. So you do kind of have to put up with that, and also the lock-on doesn't really have a good idea of what the thing you want to lock onto at that very moment is. It has this annoying tendency to lock onto something you're paying absolutely no attention to whatsoever, and that can kind of suck. You do have a boost pull that you use via clicking the stick or holding the stick. Holding the stick will usually get a more sustained burst, but I've found that it's usually a better idea to push the boost in like that. You get more speed out of it, and it takes up less of your boost pool. And if you lose all of your boost pool, you're actually in a little bit of trouble, because it has this annoying tendency to get you shot. And you do kind of want to avoid that when it's high-speed mech action. There are things like being able to lock on with multiple missiles if you've got micro missiles, and you can lock onto basically anything, which is nice. So you can just sweep across Macross style and just beat the shit out of anything. There are also all sorts of weapons, like the Psycho Drones and the Smart Missiles. These two weapons are actually basically just fire and forget. Oh god, that guy's dead.
Lieutenant, we detect multiple crafts approaching. Prepare to engage. Everyone else except Lieutenant Juliana's squadron, please evacuate from combat area.
That was a checkpoint, thankfully. They usually give you a fair amount of... Oh, well, dear. Okay, Black Knight, M5 Viper. Okay, cool. There are weapons like the smart missiles and the psycho drones, which are... The psycho drones are exactly what they sound like if you're even remotely familiar with Gundam. They basically just fire out and take care of themselves, which is a nice touch. You do also have things like your traditional machine guns, micro missile launchers, macro missile launchers, rail guns, and some ridiculous shit that I'm going to get into later. Like, the frame that I'm flying around right now in the Warfront mode is fucking amazing because of its ridiculous weapon setup, which I will take the time to show you later on. But yes, there is a lot of weapon variety is what I'm trying to say, and I have no problem with this in the slightest. Also, I don't know why they bother giving you just a standard shield that just sits there. Mainly because for this game, you want to be moving around as fast as humanly possible. And I don't see why you would ever stop in one spot. That sounds like a terrible idea.
Ready.
Thankfully, in this case, I don't need to worry too much about it. There's also plenty of little neat things about the combat as well. Like, you can shoot missiles out of the sky. You don't have to worry about them if you can see them. Just fire away at them and they will die. This is a thing. There's just neat little things about the combat like that that really give it a bit of extra oomph. They do I'm pretty sure I just wiped his ass. Let's try that again. I'm pretty sure I just floored his ass. Don't want to be that guy who wipes a retard's ass and then shoots him. Like, I can't remember what superhero was that did that. I'm positive there was a superhero that did that. I remember hearing that somewhere, but God knows if I remember where. Yeah, you get a ton of weapons. Most of the mechs you have feel pretty similar. I mean, they do have different stats overall, and they do have, like, for example, some units not having things like boost will absolutely require you to change your strategies a little bit. That is absolutely a thing.
Reloaded and ready.
But with that being said,
Yes, sir.
they all do tend to feel pretty similar. Although you do absolutely get a bit of a leg up if you... What's the word I'm looking for? Whoa, hello! Red Comet. I wonder where they got that name from. I can't help but imagine. Surely it's not a Gundam reference. There's a couple of weird references like that. Like, one of your crew is named Mobius. I don't know if that's a on purpose Ace Combat reference, but if it is, it kind of sucks, mainly because the guy who's named Mobius is kind of a weirdo. Yeah. Eliminate all hostiles, reinforcements arrive in 4 minutes. Liberty class destroyer, huh? Well, you're going to be a Liberty class pile of junk by the time I'm through with you, comrade.
Hardpoint 4, reloaded and ready.
But yeah, the combat overall, pretty damn good. They do a really good job of making it feel great even on low power hardware like the Switch. The overall set of controls is really well done, nice and smooth. The performance is nice. The variety of weapons is good. The AI can be a little bit shit, especially on the high difficulties where I can go from really smart to really dumb. What is that? The particle cannon. Okay. They have this annoying tendency to just drop you into missions and you have to figure out what all your weapons do. Which can be a surprise when you fire off something and next thing you know...
Hardpoint 4, reloaded and ready.
I'd like to request an additional minute be added to our ETA into the combat zone. We cannot charge the ion.
The game, overall, its variety, its mechs, its general combat, real good fun. They've done a really nice job with the overall feel, and I approve of it quite heavily. As of the content itself, well, they do have a decent amount of weapon and mission, like just general mission variety, I should say. There's a couple of unique ones here and there. A fair few are just go there and kill this thing. There's a fair bit of coming to the defense of people. I really should have aimed that at someone. Performance is going down a bit here, but that's okay. It's not as bad as Community Party. Well, I said it again. Someone hunt me down and shoot me in the face, please. But yes, the overall mech combat is fine. Now let's talk about the missions. The variety is good. There's a couple of neat ones here and there, like as I said before, the is that a laser? Oh my god, that actually is a laser. Sweet. I approve of this, I approve of this. The prison break mission where you have to basically just watch your ass for 5 minutes, although it's not really that much of a, decoys. It's not really that much of a danger to you in particular. But it's nice still having to wander around while everyone chases you down. It's a neat little feeling, that one. But yeah, mostly it's just missions like this where you just have to beat the crap out of everyone or survive until someone comes along to help you beat the crap out of everyone. And to be fair, in a game like this, missions like that aren't particularly out of the ordinary. And at least you do get some good environments to look at. Like this is some really nice Arctic environments. Reminds me very fondly of the same kind of environment they had in Ace Combat 5, I think it was. I just played that recently before the launch of 7, so yeah. Boom. But yeah, right. I do appreciate the way it looks. It's a very pleasant looking game, very easy on the eyes. Everything does seem incredibly small in comparison though, like your mechs seem absolutely tiny in comparison to the world around you, which isn't a problem, it's just an observation. Can't get away from me. Wait, what am I doing? Get in front of him and let the other guy take care of him, sure, why not?
Reloaded.
I don't have my blade here, which is a little disappointing because I like my blade. Reinforcements have arrived. Cool. Don't actually have my sound on at the moment. As I said before, the English voice acting isn't the best. But I've been finding it hard to pay attention. Mainly because of the way they tell the story. Now, the way they tell the story in this is a bit weird. I mean, you've got your obvious pre- and post-campaign mission cutscenes and all that. All of that stuff's there. The main problem I have with it is that they've also got these weird little audio logs that try and tell a little bit of history about the world, but it's usually not enough. It takes you a few missions to figure out that there was just an extra world war that killed everybody. I mean, I know that might have been something you expect to see like on the store page or something, but I usually go by what's in the actual game, and maybe a little bit of an encyclopedia to tell me what was going on so I can go and read up on it a little would be nice, because you come in a little bit clueless, and while it does help the game's variety and pacing to have you swapping between several viewpoints, which is a thing in this game, the fact that you go between so many different people so quickly kind of makes it hard to follow the story. They do have this overarching theme of we have to work together for the benefit of humanity going on, which seems to be the same sort of thing that something like Ace Combat would go for. But all of these audio logs that are being read out by people who don't seem to give a shit, and the oh dear. All of these audio logs seeming to be read out by people that don't give a shit, and just the general constantly swapping protagonists and not getting too much background info on the world to begin with. It's not great. Just wishing for more. Not the biggest complaint I've ever had, but yeah, I just wish there was a little bit more to help me figure out as what the bloody hell is going on this planet. Got a lot of
Autonomous
cool
4
effects.
reloaded and ready.
Like getting back down into the water, there's the nice effects flying off and
Ready.
just shit blowing up in the water next to me and tons of lasers. Who can ever argue with tons of lasers? I don't know anyone who would ever dare argue with tons of lasers, because tons of lasers is, well, just that, tons of lasers.
I have a private military contractor to call.
Who's he shooting at?
US's Third Fleet has retreated to their base.
We're just going to hit start and skip that cutscene, because we're going to go play some of the, Oh, it actually lets me pick between two pilots. Haven't had that option yet, but okay. And then you can also listen to the audio logs down here.
Colonel? What's that bottle you're holding? How many times do I have to tell you that you shall not drink vodka in the hangar, Colonel? We're going to sortie this evening.
Don't worry, Oleana. Everything will be fine. I can manage this.
It's not fine, sir. That will slow down your reaction time. If you keep doing this, you'll get yourself killed. We battleframe pilots have to react and decide in a split second. And just that one drink will make it impossible.
Anyone want me to play Xande just to show that woman wrong? Because who the hell wouldn't want to drink before they go out to die? Alright, so let's go down to Warfront and play a little bit of that, shall we? So you can pick between either faction, and that determines the suits that you can get on either side. And once we get to that, we can pick our frame, or we can read our emails, which are just really basic. There's no real story to Warfront mode. This mode is more or less just a sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Just let me, decide what I want to buy for this thing first. Yeah, that'll do. This mode is more or less just a quick play sort of mode, right? So you pick a mission type, you pick a difficulty, and you just go out and do it. Whatever that mission may be. It'll generate it for you, and you can just play. No major story, just shoot things. That's more or less it. I'm not even kidding. It's nice, but it's just worth mentioning that if you're looking for an extra side mode with a little bit more substance than that, you might be a bit disappointed. Honestly, it's not the worst thing in the world. So yeah, this suit is kind of nutty for multiple reasons. So he's got the regular set of micro missiles, although he's got 30 of them, so I don't know why I'm talking in a foreign language all of a sudden. Let's just get over there and show this guy what he's missing. He's also got this absolutely insane, like, railgun cannon, which absolutely beats the shit out of everyone in his radius. He's also got a fucking chain gun, shotgun, unholy mess of a weapon that just beats the shit out of everyone. The only downside to this guy is that he has very low maneuverability, and his weaponry is fairly... He's got fairly low maneuverability, and his weaponry has very low ammo, just in general. So you do end up in that kind of position where you may need to end up reloading a lot. And I'm kind of getting my shit wrecked here, which is unfortunate. Unfortunately, these guys aren't making it easy for me. Especially since they keep flying past me like bastards. It's very hard to actually hit dudes with this suit if you can't keep a lock on. And look at what these guys are doing. They're just flying around me without a care in the world. Hang on, we'll just do a missile sweep.
More contacts approaching.
And we'll do it again. Why not? Worked pretty well the first time. What's that? Fire off my last missile to get the reload in. You can reload manually, just... You generally don't want to be in a position where you really need to. Because if you've got something left in the mag, you might as well fire it off. You do also bring along friends on these kinds of missions. You can also run into situations where you'll have things like bases to defend, and if you manage to keep those bases alive for long enough, you'll get bonus points for it. So, you know, they do reward better performance. High performance battle frame. This would be the boss. Say gripe then. I have no idea what that means. Thankfully, he is also not going to be able to determine what it means when I wipe the floor with his sorry ass. Gotta let my boost come back while I'm about to be beared down on by a bunch of dicks. Right. So it does manage to give you lock-ons there, but of course as soon as enemies go off screen you can't get that lock-on, which is a little annoying. I wish it was a little bit different on that regard. Sweep them and fire away. You can of course also play this on all the other difficulties, and there is a nice bonus to this. While there is oh my god. While there is a brain work with me here, what was I going to say? Damn it. Literally halfway through a sentence and I forget what I was going to say. Oh yeah, no, I remember. The upside to this mode is that if you die, which I am very clearly about to do, but yeah, the upside is that if you die, you actually keep all the resources you earn through the mission. So down I go, and splat. So even if I just return to the hangar right now, which is what I'm going to do, I'm not going to make you sit through that again. But if we can see that I've got 1,100 resources, which I definitely didn't have after I went out. So yeah, that's nice. Doesn't actually upgrade your XP though, which is what you need to be worrying about specifically. So let's just put my boost capacity up a bit so I don't have to worry about that. So there are 6 different kinds of missions. I haven't played the bottom 3 because the downside is that you need to be leveling up in order to actually get your extra missions. And in order to do that, you need to beat missions. A fair amount of them. You don't get that much in the way of experience, which kind of sucks. Like, I'm currently at a point where I only earn like a few hundred a mission, and now they're expecting 2,000, and I can see that getting a little bit more intense as time goes on. Let's just missile sweep them as much as humanly possible. But that said though, considering that outside of the survival mode, this is probably going to be all you're going to get in the way of just like an extra mode that lets you go and shoot things, I'm not actually that particularly annoyed by any of this mode's minor problems. And apparently there are things going on, like there are special enemies that you can run into in order to, there are special enemies you can run into and destroy in order to actually take their frame and use it in this mode. So it's not like it's just unlock the missions and do them forever. Which I appreciate, because that's at least adds a little bit of extra depth. Not exactly a ambition mode a la Dynasty Warriors 8, but well, it's good enough. I'm gonna argue too heavily against it. Oh, it's a Gatling gun. I mean, goddamn. Like, watch this thing fire. Are you sure that's not a shotgun of, like, some kind? That's too many bullets. Seriously, does that not look like just a massive automatic shotgun to anyone? It's bizarre just how stupid it looks, but... Well, it's fun to use. They at least got the sound design down for most of this weaponry, so... who am I to complain? Screw it. You get the railguns of death and destruction, you do. Yeah, only 500 XP for that one. You get more if you do the other missions. Mainly because they just take longer, so you get more XP just because you have more stuff to shoot and the objectives are slightly harder, but... yeah. There's one more mission I want to go play. I'd like to show you a mission versus a more capable opponent.
Remember the last engagement.
And there's also something else I want to show off because I have neglected to show it. Neglected. What the fuck is neglected? I have no idea. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. You see that?
Engaging combat mode. Okay, Warden.
I mean, I'm sure you do, but just in case you can't tell what it is, it's first person view. Oh yeah, right, I forgot. Psycho drone, smart missile, get the fuck out of the way. God damn it. And give me that railgun, because the railgun's range. Railgun's range really helps with this shit. Since you can't lock onto enemies if you're outside of the lock-on range of the weapon that you've got equipped, which can suck. So yes, this gets a sword. Although it looks kind of silly when you're doing it in first-person view. Probably should have put a motion sickness warning at the front of this video, because holy crap. Alright, you, give me that railgun back. Is he actually taking hits? I can't see whether or not the boss is taking hits. Even with the bloody big hitbox up there. What? Well, shit, I didn't even get to show off what I wanted. That is really disappointing. Whatever, I'm just going to cut that last few minutes out anyway. So, let's just go back to the main menu. So that was a look at Project Nimbus Code Mirai Complete Edition. It's fun. It's got some pretty good action in it. Difficulty can be a bit dick. Keep it on gamer recommended. Don't bother with prepare to die because they have this annoying tendency to get really smart, then really dumb, then really smart, then you just end up dead. The campaign and Warfront have plenty of content to keep you occupied for a few hours at least for its $20 asking price, but yeah. No multiplayer or anything like that. I can't imagine how you do multiplayer in this game. It just seems like it'd be way too quick for even the best internet connections, but oh well, it's fine as a single player game. If you like what you see, go give it a shot. It's probably something you'll like. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.